Okay, today you are going to be looking at Sandra Silberzweig's work and you are going to be creating your own version in chalk pastel. One thing that I want you to look at straight away, if we look at Sandra's work here, is the fact that she uses lots of bright colour and she also uses contrasting colours. An example of the contrasting colour would be in the orange and the blue in the eye up here, and the purple and the red of the cheek that are joining. As well as using flat colour, she mixes colour and she also uses lots of pattern and texture in her work. You will be recreating that today. Your first task will be to create the outline of the painting. So you'll use a light coloured chalk pastel and you will recreate what you see. So all those basic lines of where everything is, you will recreate on your piece of paper. I'm only going to do part of it because otherwise it will take far too long. And now I'm going to talk about how you actually use the chalk pastels to recreate the colour. So I'm going to go for the orangey colour that appears there. I'm going to show you how to build up the layers. So I'm going to use the bright orange first. I'm just going to draw it on as if I am using like a pencil. Then I'm going to use my finger and blend that colour in, just so that it sits in all of the lumps and bumps of the paper. And you'll notice there's some dust on the surface. Don't blow that off because it will go over other people's work. Just take your work, shake it off on the floor and return it to your table. So if you notice there, we've got red mixing with the orange. So I'm going to layer the orange over red over the top. So it's a little bit patchy. I'm going to take my finger, I'm just going to push it around so that it still has a texture and you can still see bits of that orange appearing underneath. And then another technique is to then work over the top, adding your texture as you go. So creating your lines and the dots and all the other bits of pattern that you see in the work. So that's layering two colours together and then adding the pattern on the top. You'll also notice that she uses lots of black, and right at the end, and not until the end, you can then work in and start adding the black lines. If you add the black too soon, it will start mixing with your colours and make it look muddy. Be really careful with your hand as you're working, because if you've actually worked down here and then you're moving your hand over the surface, you're going to smudge it, just as I have done there. So always work with your hand in the air and not actually touching your paper.